My name is Kevin Tokoph, and in this video we're going to discuss the theory behind the coagulase test. So first of all, let's discuss some very basic physiology. So in your blood right now, you have soluble fibrinogen, and fibrinogen is an inactive protein. And we know that whenever we have tissue injury, such as a cut like on your arm, your blood clots. And you would actually see over the course of maybe a couple minutes, you see basically, as we say in layman's terms, your blood dries. That's because whenever you have tissue injury, and only when there's tissue injury, you have a series of enzymes called clotting factors that become activated, and they ultimately convert this soluble fibrinogen protein into a fibrin clot. Okay? And the beauty of this system is that this conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin should only occur when there is tissue injury. However, Staphylococcus aureus, which is the most significant pathogen of the Staphylococcus genus, can express an enzyme called coagulase, and this can cause blood clots even without tissue injury, and coagulase, the enzyme, is actually part of how this Staphylococcus aureus propagates its pathogenic effects in vivo. Okay, so the basis behind this is we're going to have some kind of tube, and then we're going to have plasma. Okay, we don't use whole blood, so our results will not appear red. We're only using the plasma part, which doesn't have the red blood cells. The plasma is going to be inoculated with some kind of bacteria. If we do Staphylococcus aureus and it's coagulase positive, what we should see is, because of the clotting process, that is the conversion of fibrinogen to fibrin, we should actually see some kind of visible clumps of the bacteria together because they're getting caught in the clot itself. All right, let's think about something for a second. If I have a test tube and say I just fill it with water, okay, and I take that test tube and tilt it like this, we know from intuition, just living, that the water should probably end up like this, okay? It shouldn't look like this down here. Okay, this might be if the water was like frozen or something like that. Okay, so what we do is we take plasma, not whole blood. Whole blood has red blood cells in it, and so because we're only using the plasma, our actual results will actually be not red. They'll be more of a tan color, okay, theoretically. And we're going to inoculate the plasma with some kind of bacteria. One of the examples of a bacteria that expresses coagulase is some members of Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, and we may see blood clots. Okay, now these two results down here are coagulase positive, meaning these bacteria, whatever were in here, express the enzyme coagulase, and it can appear like one of two things. This one on the bottom would be if the entire fluid here actually clotted. Okay. Now notice it's not like this where we turn it on its side and the water kind of forms a horizontal flat line right here. Okay. You should think that this should not happen right here. This setup of the fluid should not happen unless it's clotted. Okay, so sometimes the entire fluid in here can actually clot, or sometimes you can see isolated clumps like this. Okay, the entire fluid, the serum, does not have to clot for it to be a positive test, although this is positive. It can also be coagulase positive if you see visible clumps. Either one of these cases on the bottom here would be positive for presence of coagulase. Up here, if first of all it doesn't clot at all, and if you kind of turn the tube and it just looks like normal fluid, and there are no isolated visible clumps, that would be negative for coagulase. Let's go to the next slide and look at some real examples. Okay, these are some that are done in test tubes. This one you can see is pretty clearly coagulase positive because you turn it on its side and it looks almost as if it's frozen. If you imagine water and you froze it in a test tube, it might look something like this. This, they turned the test tube and it doesn't have any visible clumps, and it certainly doesn't look like this, so it's going to be coagulase negative. These bacteria do not express coagulase. Okay? Here's another good example of something that is going to be coagulase positive right here. This is a situation where it's actually fully clotted. In fact, like we mentioned, a lot of times members of the Staphylococcus genus are going to be coagulase positive. This specific one, which is very common, a very common coagulase positive pathogen in humans, is Staphylococcus aureus. Okay, here's two examples right here. The bottom one again, you can see you turn it on its side. This one definitely is going to be coagulase positive, again Staphylococcus aureus. But we look at this one, this is an example of a coagulase negative Staphylococcus bacteria. This is Staphylococcus epidermidis. And as you can see, you turn it on its side and it definitely doesn't look like this or this. So the Staphylococcus epidermidis is going to be coagulase negative. Okay? And again, just to reiterate, if we had a situation where we saw visible clumps in the test tube, we would still say it's coagulase positive. Okay? So hopefully this makes sense. Make sure to watch the demonstration video on the coagulase test.